Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and him. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes, and also the show with more money than the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I am your co-host, Darren Miss.
I did just get paid. That's what's up. 40 keys.
No, don't ever do that again.
Why you can't do that?
Damn, producer.
Get your heart right, man. Get your heart right. What's going on, Thomas?
Because the way Key did it. Can you do it again?
40 keys.
Yeah. Key ringing the half.
I couldn't concentrate. My heart fell apart because the way how Key did it. Oh my gosh, bro.
Oh my gosh. What's going on, D? What's going on, Bones?
You're
All right. Look, let's start off with stuff we heard because we've had the longest run of draft signings in a day in I don't know how long.
yeah. First pick in the draft for the Bills. Nah. Noah can't even get on the college football game. Yeah, Billy D. So Noah's not even on Eastern Michigan. Maybe next year.
Oh, it's pronounced Kanega.
We know.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna say it wrong.
Well, I hope somebody does.
Because you don't. It's not night. It's not knight. It's night. So now we want to add a K? Yeah, okay.
Man, it's having a white person say it.
Yeah. No, that's the biggest thing ever.
Say his name.
But that was on there with we did our list. We did, with Wonderful Minds, Miriam Butts, General Booty, all those guys. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, he was on that list.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a guy named Dude Person. This is a real name, apparently. Billy D said that to me earlier today. I'm like, yo, if I got to see an offseason a Dude Person, like, just give me a Giants hat right now.
No,
I'm not doing this. I'm not going through a whole Bills offseason talking about Dude Person.
No, we gotta have Dude. That's Chuck Person's nephew. I don't know.
What?
It probably is.
It might be.
If you figured this out without even thinking about it, right? You are a genius.
That's my uncle.
All right, so
I was going to say today's show.
Yeah.
The first part is not brought to you by Reese T. The first part is brought to you by Cold Brew. Where's my straw? Because I'm going to need it. And secondly, I wanted to give a personal shout out. You know where you stand. Happy birthday to you yesterday. I called you, but once again, happy birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday.
And one more. Dad, you that big age now. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, Pop Dukes.
There we go. All right.
How old is he?
I'm not going to say well, I could, but I won't.
A dude's age?
It's a dude.
We don't get sensitive about that.
He might be. He might be. He might be. I don't know.
Watch. How old is he?
Hey, you're not gonna get me him. The 40 keys is not gonna be messed up over here.
What you mean? I'm just asking for an age. What's the age?
So I need to ask this question because we've had a lot today for sure. Like, there was a lot of signings and stuff that happened yesterday. A lot of second round picks got signed. TJ Watt signed his deal yesterday. I think Mike Williams retired yesterday. Von Miller signed a deal yesterday.
Yes, he did.
So did Trey Smith. Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson got their deal the day before, if I'm not mistaken. Or their deal was a day apart. So Garrett got his
Tuesday or something like that?
Yeah. So and then apparently Jawan Jennings asked for a new deal or a trade. So he's trying to
Micah Parsons now wants to be the highest. He wants to top TJ Watt. He wants a $41 to $42 million contract. He said he's gonna participate in training camp. In the warm-ups and one-on-one drill stuff like he's just not doing 11 on 11, which is fine because that's when most people get hurt. So the fact that he said he wants a new contract is understandable, and the fact that he will still be a man of his word and show up, that's good too.
Yeah. So I need to ask this question because I've been trying to look into why Landon Jackson was put on the PUP list. But now I'm realizing that a lot of other teams are doing the same exact thing. And to my knowledge, these are all teams that are a little short on cap space. And kind of arriving at the suspicion that I had initially with the Landon Jackson move, which is the Bills don't have any cap space. They're probably trying to stash Landon Jackson on the PUP list because that doesn't count against the cap, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. It does count.
Yep.
So
they get all they do with PUP. All they do is get an extra person. They can get an extra player to fill that roster spot until he gets off the list. Now, this is why they did it now. This is speculation that I heard. There may be some kind of issue with his back. He had a back and neck issue in his junior year at Arkansas. And if they don't add him to the PUP list before training camp starts, he has to be out of the system for 4 weeks. So by adding him before it starts, he can take him off whenever he wants. So he says pass his physical.
Why the time? Why the length of time? Why the 4 weeks?
Because that's the standard policy. But before league starts, which is when training camp starts, you can come off. Like he can go on today and come off tomorrow. But if they put him on as soon as they get to camp, if it starts, he has to be out a minimum 4 weeks.
On the PUP list, you mean?
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. So that makes a lot more sense. So then there's just a lot of players with a lot of things and scratches.
Because what it is, if you can't pass your physical, for conditioning or whatever the case may be, they're going to do it now so they don't lose those 3 or 4 weeks that we're talking about.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Well, that is one of the least favorable things we could have heard about Landon Jackson at this point, but here we are. We're a step closer to the truth about why he's on the PUP list.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 ACL tears in his. I think he did one in high school and one in college, and he had a neck issue sophomore, junior year that popped up. So that's probably what it is. I mean, it's probably nothing serious, but you know, the physicals they take are very intensive. So what they did at the combine might not have identified it, but when they got to training camp, it probably did.
So it would have to be something lingering if it was, something from last college season or something that he was dealing with all through, the combine. So I guess this doesn't really matter because teams draft players all the time with injuries and stuff like that, but there's going to be a lot of people like rolling their eyes at me. So what do you think becomes the justification for the team to now have drafted 2 players that we know are coming into the league with pretty serious injury situations? I mean, the back issue that Dion was dealing with, it's a pretty serious. There's fractures there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and you have to hope that those heal up all right, and the surrounding area heals up all right. There's no nerve damage, no nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You have to hope that heals up right, and you have to hope that there's no complications afterwards in terms of his flexibility, mobility, and range of movement. And with Landon Jackson now, I didn't even know he had a neck or a back injury or anything like that. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. If I'm hearing this for the first time, I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that are hearing this for the first time too. What do you think the justification or the mindset of the team is when they draft a player like this? Because right now it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, the best I can think is just something that just flared up. Because if the physicals, I can tell you when I started at United, when I told you they had to do an extensive physical to get into that job, they made you do the duck walk, and I have a bad knee, so any given day, if I took that physical on the wrong day and my knee swelled up and I couldn't duck walk, I failed the physical. And now I'm out for 4 weeks. So they're like, we're getting ahead of it. And can I do the job? Of course, I've been doing it for 20 years. But that particular day when the physical is coming, they're like, we don't want to chance that. We want to just hold off and give him a physical today when we know he can pass. So they could possibly pull out, and he could still play just fine, but it's just getting past that hurdle.
Right.
So I don't put too much into it because I don't think he really missed any time last year in college. Obviously, the jump from a 10 to 12 game season to a 16, 17 game season plus playoffs is different. But I don't think that it's going to hinder him from performing on the field when it matters.
Okay, and that's fair, and I guess that's the best we can hope for at this point.
It.
But
he's ours. Yeah,
yeah. I was just looking at the salary cap for 2027, and we're gonna be without a lot of guys. Matt Milano's gonna have a void year on the books. DaQuan Jones, Connor McGovern's got a void year on the books. Curtis Samuel's got a void year on the books. Epinesa, but we're staring at about $40 million of cap space in 2027.
And the band bleed. Oh,
so I guess my next question becomes: so from an injury perspective, because you've had a lot of experience with this, the likelihood of these things flaring up, and I get that these teams have millions of dollars and stuff like that, but from what your knowledge is of the type of injuries that they have and some of your experience, what is the likelihood of these issues not being a recurring issue over a long period of time? You know what I mean? Like, what are the chances that this is just a situation where it flared up now, and you know what, they're going to do some treatment, stuff like that, and we'll be fine?
yeah. I mean, I think I'm not too worried about this. I'm more worried about the ACL tears that he's had in the past. Those are the ones for me. Because why did you have? Well, D even said he had a third one. He had two in high school and one in college. So I knew about one in high school and one in college. So he had two ACL tears in high school, one in college, and that's problematic for me. You know, that scares me because there's something going on. You know, and I have something called subluxation. So what that is, I found out after I messed my knee up. Your kneecaps are not supposed to move in a joint, but so much. Mine move a lot already. So had I known that, you know, and headed off at the pass, I would have wore knee braces or some kind of support, but I didn't. And what happened. But, you know, I think with foresight, with the training and everything that they have, he had surgery. They're going to have to monitor that, because I don't want to see a fourth ACL tear. That could be the end of his career early, and you don't get that money back because he retired. I don't think the neck injury, you know, everybody goes to the league, everybody goes to the games, they're injured at some point, even if you don't know it, they're hurt. So as long as there's nothing like an ACL tear or you know, like Deion Walker's broken back, I think they have to play through it. And the thing that helps us with Landon Jackson is the rotation. You know, they rotate so much, he's probably going to play like 20 to 30% of the snaps anyway. So we'll have to monitor and see what happens this season. If he goes down with a little soft tissue stuff, we're in for a long career for this guy.
Okay, I guess after hearing all of this, I don't think my sentiment has changed on the draft pick.
Yeah.
You know, to be perfectly honest, him being in a rotation, I don't like rotations anyway in general. I just, knowing what I've heard players say in the past in terms of, you know, being able to get in a groove against a guy and play against a guy enough to understand what his repetitions are, or his habits, I should say, what his habits are. Does this left tackle like to lean left? Is his counter move always this? Or how many counter moves does he have? You know, do I have one more move than he knows how to counter? Maybe I can take him, but I can't find that out if you're only giving me, you know, one drive and then I got to come off the next
tough
guy.
Part about it. That's why I hate the rotational piece, and McDermott loves it. And I don't see, he didn't rotate when he played. Yes, McDermott did play, for guys that don't know that. He played at William & Mary. He was a safety. Yeah. You don't rotate safeties. You rotate your defensive line sometimes, but the thing about defensive line, there's no room for a counter. You know, as soon as the ball snaps, you're in contact.
Yep.
And you have to think fast. You have to know what he did on the last play.
Exactly.
To get the information for the next play. And when you're rotating, especially as a rookie, somebody that's not Von Miller, somebody that's not Joey Bosa, that hasn't seen it all before, it's problematic, and you don't learn. And then that's when you hear stuff that being said about Kincaid and Cook. We had long, honest conversations with this guy. About what? He didn't get the information that he was supposed to have to play the game the right way. You guys always say the right way. Give him the right way. Roy said he knows all about knees. He shattered his knee, kept falling off a ladder, got a few pins in there holding it together. Maybe that's the problem.
Jeez.
Because this is what happened. I'll tell you what happened. I was out playing basketball. I was already sought after. This is me being stupid at 15 or whatever I was. I was already getting offers from colleges to come and try out when I got, you know, of age. and we were out playing basketball, and one of my friends, he actually played running back for UB. He said, "I'm gonna dunk on you one day." I said, "Nobody ever dunks on me." So
I can see why.
so he got a fast. He poked it, got a fast break. He was on his way, so I chased after him. He bounced it, and he went up with two hands, and I was behind him, and I swatted it away. How I came down, I felt the electricity up the left side of my body, and I didn't look down or know anything. So I don't know if you guys, if you're old enough to watch In Living Color with Fire Marshal Bill.
That's my dude.
There was an episode where I forget why, but he put his leg on the table. He cut his leg off with a power saw, and he went to walk and he fell down. This is what happened to me. My leg was backwards, basically. From my knee down, my heel was like inside. No, it was like turned. So my kneecap was like behind my leg, and my bottom half of my leg was like turned in a grotesque like L sideways kind of deal. So yeah, so all my friends like, don't look. But what happened was I didn't know my leg was like that, and out of adrenaline, I popped back up and I went to walk, and I fell down. That was my kneecap breaking. So now on top of my leg being all over the place, my kneecap is now broken. And my friends like, don't look at it. And I just remember I sat there and I was like, give me some water. I was calm as it, give me some water. They're like, I drank a 2-liter, just laying there. They're like, I said, I'm never gonna play basketball again, y'all. I said, it's over. It's never gonna happen again. Don't look at it. They were trying to put towels down. People were like freaking. This girl walked by. She started crying. She ran away.
You got people running away.
Yes, like, cause like, it's like when I'm just like where I look down and I'm like, if I look away and look back, that wasn't real. Oh, that was real. Like, you see that? Yeah, it's crazy. So it was worse than Sean Livingston. It looked worse than Sean Livingston. But yeah, basically.
Oh yeah, I seen that injury.
Yeah, it was. The rest of it was worse than that. But I say that to say, life comes at you fast, really fast. So yeah, Lord, that's what happened.
Right too.
Huh?
Make sure you treat your body right.
Well, at 15, you don't know what that means. You don't care.
Not at all.
You just like you don't even stretch. You're like stretch. Hell with that. Let me get out here and ball.
Right.
But
at that age, it's like
right. All I got is he never dunked the ball on me, and I got a hired cast from my hip to my toes that summer. A summer of a hired cast from my hip to my toes and crutches. It was trash.
Bro.
So yep, that was me. I remember it's funny because I remember when I woke up, because like I was 15 and they couldn't get a hold of my parents because nobody had cell phones at the time. So I'm in there and I'm about to go into shock, because when you see my legs start jumping and blood's pumping everywhere and like the doctor's there. I don't like needles. And I asked for an IV at this point. I'm like, yo, can I get something? They're like, okay. They hit me with it. Blood squirted clear across the room, all over the doctor. That's how high my blood pressure was. And so, they put the little thing on my finger and the little monitor, and it was like going off. I was like, was that normal? The doctor's like, not really. We're gonna do this now. I said, okay. I said, all right. So, they're telling me because their parents got to sign for you when you're a minor.
Yeah.
And my parents went around, but they knew I was about to go into some serious health issues. So they're like, we got to do this now. And when I come to, they're like, yo, you're a funny guy. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, yo, you're talking about your girlfriend at the time, not T, but whoever it was,
Yeah.
And matter of fact, she was the girl that commented was bothering us. But I was like, you lying. They'll tell me what I said. Like, thank God I ain't never did nothing like that because I would have told them, nothing like I was still,
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much I could have said. But they're like, you're a funny guy. And I learned the power of anesthesia at that point in time. But it was excellent. My mom came in there screaming at the top of her lungs. My mom and dad are not together. They don't talk. But my dad called my mom and that's how you know it's serious. And I remember sitting in the chair because I asked for a pop before they did what he did. And I'm sitting in the chair with that blue sleeve on. And I got my pop. Now I'm good. I'm just chilling. They're like, I hear it screaming to the top of her lungs. She's freaking out. I'm like, Mom, I'm in here. She come in there. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm cool. So she come in there. Then my dad was like, oh shit. I'm hurt, so they can't do that, so
gotta explain
right. But it was an interesting time. So like, and that's why all my friends, like, for sure, like y'all know when something happened on the football field and it's gonna be bad, y'all be like, probably don't want to watch this because I can watch a lot of stuff, but that stuff I don't want to see any broken bones, bent stuff. Yeah, it's traumatic.
Jeez.
Sometimes you see me wince, like I just think it was popping my head, like PTSD. I just wince and yeah. So yeah, that's the life of an athlete, and then it just was never the same again.
Wow. Man, thank you for that story. That was.
It was.
I like you never told it to me in that much detail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's a lot, bro.
It's
that's a lot, bro. Snarl, what's going on? It says so he's talking about Dion and Landon. He said they slip for reasons. If they approach their upside potential, it's worth the small investment. It is an optimistic point, and I have a strong appreciation for anybody with an optimistic mindset. I am the same in that sense. When it comes to most things, until they prove to me that it's not worth it. So what I mean is I'm still waiting for the potential upside of Greg Rousseau, Christian Benford, Terrell Bernard, who else? Khalil Shakir. Well, not Khalil Shakir. Ed Oliver. Who else? Dorian Williams. Like all these players that when the Bills talk about them, they talk about the upside and what they could potentially be, but they end up coming here and just being cogs in a machine.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with who was a Snarl. Yeah, they slip for reasons. And I agree with you 100%, but this is why, I should say 95%. This is why I don't agree, because this team isn't one player away. Now, if this was a duck pick, I said Landon Jackson was going to be a Bill. I said that. I mean, Deion Walker was somebody I mentioned, but I knew Landon was coming to Buffalo because he was Rousseau, and I wasn't happy about it. But it's a duplicate pick, and we were still searching for that wide receiver. We're searching for something else, a safety, another corner, stuff like that. And they found the corners, but I think when you're looking for another piece, it's tough to get a value pick like that. It was a value pick, and it's going to smack you in the face, and you're going to be like, man, I really want to do it. But who else is there that I really need?
Right.
And that's the thing that gets me about that pick.
Okay. Bone says saw someone talking about. Wait, let me just pull it up here. Bone says saw someone talking about the idea of Ed Oliver being used as an edge at times. How does PPP feel about this? So this is we were literally just saying this a second ago. The team has a tendency to talk about the upside of players. Well, they talked about that with Ed Oliver when he got here.
Yeah.
When he was first drafted, they said he can play inside and outside.
Yep. We
see him playing and we got excited at this because we thought Aaron Donald, you can play inside and outside. You can use his speed against, smaller, slower left tackles, and you can put him inside against the slower, more,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we haven't had this expectation to see these things, but I just think over time Bills fandom has kind of become numb to the ancillary things that have been put into the atmosphere of potential.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We've kind of just got so used to winning that we don't really think about, well, man, these players, the way they were described, supposed to be way better. And we're winning these games, and we're scoring all these points, and the defense performs well during the regular season, but I mean, some of these players are 3-4 years in, they should be stars by now.
Yeah, I think that's why Bills fandom is bipartisan. If you think about the divide, it shouldn't be as bad as it is. There are fans that believe everything that the front office says, and there's fans like us that hear what they say and take it literally. You say he's Aaron Donald, I expect Aaron Donald. You say that this guy is whatever the case may be, I expect that. There's no middleman. And a lot of fans are like, well, you know what they meant. I don't want to know what they mean. I want to hear what they say. Like when I talk, I say what I mean. People are like, you don't say you're sorry. I know, because even if you don't like it, I meant it.
That's right.
I thought about it tooth and nail before I said it. And so we talk about Ed Olivers and stuff like that. I didn't like the pick because Aaron Donald. No, he's not. We knew that coming out. We knew he could be good, but you got to do stuff with him. We knew Rousseau could be good, but you got to do stuff with him. None of these guys are standalone pieces that will take over a game. And I'm still looking for that piece on defense. We talked about, is it Rousseau? Is it Benford? Those are the only two to me that you could have an argument to say, okay, those are your cornerstone pieces. But even with them, you have to do stuff to make them better.
That's right. That's right. And that's not. Let me be fair in saying this. That's not traditionally what teams do when it comes to high draft picks.
Right.
Your first, your second, your third rounders, are the guys that you anticipate being your star to superstar level players. That's why you draft them that high. Otherwise, you would just take anybody. And you know what I mean? And it's and I'm not saying that the Bills just take anybody. We've gone through this process before of what the Bills look for. It's character first.
Right.
Do they fit the culture? Do they fit in the locker room? Then after that, they start looking at what they've done in college, skill set, and all that kind of stuff. They don't even really think about scheme.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I could probably make a good case for the Buffalo Bills not really having a defined scheme until training camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's the point where they've seen the rookies. They've reviewed, everything that they can after OTAs and all that stuff is over. And now they have everybody on film. Now they can go look at what they've done in college, what they've done in the league, if they're already on the team and all that kind of stuff, and figure out and say, all right, what we have right now works in this particular scheme. Right. So this is what we're going to focus on. And it's not even, this is the scheme we're going to do. It's, these are the plays we're going to call, right? That's how detailed it gets. And that's how it's detailed and vague at the same time, because it's detailed from the standpoint of they're focusing on specific plays that fit a relative scheme that these players can execute, but it's vague from the standpoint of it's not an actual scheme.
Right. Yeah. And Jamal Roscoe, is that a new name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Welcome to the show, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we got to give him the riot act.
Yeah, you got to read him his rights. Okay. So, Jamal, look, unfortunately, you made the decision to hop into our comment section, our chat here with us, and you can ask around. Everybody that's in there with you now has been in there for a very long time, and they have not figured out a way to get out because there isn't one. So you're stuck for life, my man. I hope you enjoy it. Grab a plate, and we'll see you at dinner.
God loves you. We love you too. Good evening, fellas. For the life of me, I can't understand why everything he's saying Taylor Rapp is safety. His safety spot is secure, and they are saying Shakur is our number one receiver. SMH. Now, okay. Shakur, Shakir, I'm sorry. He is our number one receiver as it stands right now. He's not going to be on the outside. He's going to be the number one from the slot. So he's going to get the most targets. He's going to probably have the most catches, probably do the most for the team. That's the one that Josh is most familiar with, and the one that Josh is most comfortable with. So that's why he's going to be the number one guy. Otherwise, I do ask the same question about Taylor Rapp sometimes. My thing is, if you got Taylor Rapp, what did he do so great that Cole Bishop can't move him over? Why is it that Derek Forrest can't see the field? I mean, I'm not going to say DeMar Hamlin, but DeMar Hamlin. Why is it that Hancock can't get in there?
Yeah,
because you're outside of Forrest. I think all the other safeties that we have, the real safeties we have, are what Taylor Rapp actually is that box safety. Cole Bishop is going to go out there. He's going to be the free. He's going to be the high one safety and everybody's going to say, look, he's terrible. But that's not what he does. That's not what he's supposed to do, and that's not what he's brought in with the understanding that he could do. DeMar Hamlin we saw last year. They had him playing single high. That's not his game either. He's more towards the line of scrimmage. He was one of the better tacklers on the team and one of the surer tacklers on the team. Who am I missing? Cole Bishop, DeMar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp is the one that has the most experience on, in terms of playoff pedigree, Super Bowl performances. But that doesn't do anything for me. For me, I think it's who has the best skill set, who can do the best with what we want to do. And I don't think they know what they want to do. Like you just said, I think that was why I segued to that question the way I did, because you said it perfectly. We don't really know what we want our back to do right now. We don't have a plan.
It shows. When you think about why they would want a guy like Taylor Rapp playing next to a guy like DeMar Hamlin or next to a guy like Cole Bishop, the only relevant explanation for that would be the split safety look.
Yep.
You want safeties with similar skill sets so that no matter what, the coverage is going to be there and it's going to be consistent and it's disguisable, right? It's disguisable in a different way than what they were doing with Poyer and High, because Poyer and High could play man. So they could drop one of those guys down and play nickel or however they wanted to work those guys in that, style of defense. Yep. But with a split safety look, The one thing that you are kind of stuck with is too deep. You know what I mean? Because they don't have the skill set, and because scheme wise, you have to do that if you're going to use it to disguise. So what does all this mean? Well, it basically means that you are structuring your safety room to fit a scheme that you're not going to run during the season. We saw them run single high safety last season. You don't do that with split safeties, and these guys are not good enough to start dropping down and play man coverage.
Right.
So what are you doing then? Essentially, what you're doing is you're saying, well, from an ideology standpoint, we think it's a good idea to employ these guys because A, they fit the locker room great. B, they're going to do exactly what we asked them to do. C, they're not going to get beat over the top, which they have. and then you take all of that and you fold that into, okay, well, how can we employ these guys on the field? Well, we got to go split safety look. Okay, well, we can't do that all the time because teams are going to force us out of that with the run, or they're going to run whatever beats a cover two look. You know what I'm saying? It, like post routes and all, anything that splits those safeties is going to destroy us if that's what we're going to do. So what does that mean? Well, that means you technically don't have a scheme at that point because you're employing players that are not versatile enough to play in different play calls. So if I wanted to call cover three, they can't do that. If I wanted to do some sort of zone blitz, they can't do that. I'm stuck in cover four, quarters coverage, and cover two. Maybe cover six, I think you can get away with there a little bit. You know what I mean? Which is one of your corners stays a little shallow and you kind of drifting your safeties over. But even in that, I wouldn't play around with that. But again, this all boils down to this is a team that's just picking guys that they love and putting them on the field and trying to do most of what they can do best and trying to coach them up in all the areas that they can't.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That was my major grievance with the draft. I really wanted Xavier Watts. I really wanted Malachi Starks. I really wanted, one of those safeties that could give us some versatility back there. It wasn't that I hated Hamlin like most people do. It wasn't that I really hated Taylor Rapp like most people do. But I was already of the mind that Taylor Rapp was a starter. So my mind was like, who can we put next to him to make him better? And who can he make better by not having to do some of the things that they're not good at?
Right.
And I thought that those guys that I just named were guys that could fulfill that need. The Bills just didn't see fit to make the moves to do so. That's all.
I was looking for. Oh, okay. So what's going on, Nate? Says, seems like we're talking defense, at least here in the chat. I'm looking to see if having Nielsen as a coach changes anything up front. That's the hope. Nielsen is more recently known for his expertise in man coverage, right? Not necessarily for his D-line expertise. I would have preferred somebody with a broader or a more recent accolade for his work with a defensive line, but Nielsen is definitely one of those guys that knows how to employ a defensive line that kind of suits what the Bills would need because they rely so heavily on defensive line play. Yeah,
I don't know anything about him, but I know from what I saw, I thought he was like a blitz guru. Because I think we talked about it on the show previous to this that I was excited about him running a twist drills and stunt drills with D-line and linebackers. It was exciting to see. Now, if they do that on the field, that's a different story. I need to see something on the field, even if it's not great. Just a progression. And I think that's the thing that people get wrong about, at least me, maybe you as well. I don't want to speak for you, but I might be wrong. But it's not that I need to go from where we are to Super Bowl champions now. I just need to see progression towards that Super Bowl. I need to see, not stagnation. I need to see is not losing in the divisional round. I need to see is not losing to the Chiefs. I want to see, and I said this somewhere, that for me, I would much rather see. Well, I don't want to say much rather. I would be fine seeing the other team crawling out of the Super Bowl with the trophy. I would be better off seeing them like barely making it after playing the Bills. They gave us everything that we've never seen. We've never worked so hard. This team is scary. You know, we got the trophy, but they hurt us bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, now we progress to something else. And that's winning the Super Bowl. But, you know, a lot of people think it's like, oh, because we didn't win, you guys think, no, it's not that. It's just I see the same thing. And they think the same. They keep kicking the door.
Yeah.
You can't keep kicking the door because guess what? The next team is going to come in and usurp you. And that's what we're seeing now. We saw the Bengals do it. We see the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, to take your metaphor of kicking the door and kind of expound upon that.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense if we were trying to kick the door in the same exact spot every time.
Yeah.
Right. But in the NFL, you can't do that. You don't know who you're going to play in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there is no, we can kick the door in the same spot and eventually that spot will weaken and let us in.
Right.
Like just from a scientific standpoint, like that makes the most sense when you talk about kicking a door down, right? You're trying to kick near the locking mechanism to weaken the frame there so that eventually one of those kicks is going to bust it open.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't do is you don't.
He just laughed. I don't think they'll say yeah.
Okay.
He just laughed.
All right. So he used some wisdom there. I appreciate that. What you don't want to do is you don't want to try and weaken that locking mechanism by kicking the top of the door, then the bottom of the door, then the hinge side of the door, then the middle of the door. And it seems like every year that's what the Bills are doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're resigned to just kick the door.
Right.
Like that's not good enough.
Right.
It's not good enough. And what's hard about that is you're having this debate about good versus, I guess Super Bowl would be perfect in a sense. Right. And we always hear this kind of quasi old school wisdom of you never chase perfect when very good is staring you in the face.
Right.
You know, and look, that works in certain contexts. And I think where we get caught up in as a society is we take those kind of blurbs or those kind of sayings in a sense, and we just generalize them because it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes us feel good. Like, this is how I'm going to live from now on. I'm not going to chase perfect because nobody's perfect. So that means you never strive for better than very good. You never expect anything, but you know what I'm saying? And I get that that's a safe place to be.
Yeah.
But essentially, that's where every Bills fan is right now, is they're in a safe space.
Yeah. See, that's the thing I don't understand about McDermott. And once again, like I said, this comes from a place of me on this side of the table, not when I'm fired. What I don't understand about it, like you look at, we'll say stock trading. The most successful stock traders, what's their win rate? They said 40%, 50% maybe is the most successful stock trader. Millionaires. They say what they do is when they lose, they actually win to cover those losses. So what McDermott is doing is he's almost afraid like he's going to lose his job. Pagula already told you this is your show.
Right.
So if it's your show, either change it or try to adapt it or step aside.
And if anybody could get away with changing it, wouldn't it be Sean?
That's what I'm getting at.
You know what I mean?
He's the safest person.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I at least I imagine he's the safest person. We don't know what Terry. Yeah. Right. Because if Kevin Adams has been there and he's been losing forever since day one, he's been losing. He ain't won nothing ever. Right. And here Sean is winning the division.
Yeah.
You know, especially 6 years in a row. Like
it's Josh, Sean, and then the rest of y'all.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. Sean should be able to make some changes and not have to be afraid of what's not going to work. I mean, look. When the Bills came and told us this is not going to be a rebuilding year, it's going to be a retooling year, nobody blinked.
Nope.
Everybody was like, all right, we get it. You went for it. You tried to go all in with Von Miller and all that.
Yep.
It didn't work out. We'll take the hit.
Right. Bust it up and let's start over again.
Exactly. Why? Because we knew we had Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So at the end of the day, you're gonna do what? You're gonna get all the dead weight off the ship. And then you're going to put some weapons around Josh, and it's going to look like it did in 2020. I'm pretty sure that was everybody's expectation because they had done it already.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, fine. We saw what you did in 2018 where you were doing roster surgery. Just do it again.
Right.
but it better look like it did in 2020 after that, right?
Yeah, that 2020 this time would put us over the top.
Exactly. Especially with the schedule we have and all, you know what I'm saying? I think the number 1 seed is the thing the Bills have needed this entire time, because that's what's going to help us avoid having to go through this gauntlet of playoff teams that I think we should have a healthy respect for. I mean, I get what happened against the Ravens last year. We beat them, fine, but it wasn't a dominant win by any stretch of the imagination
At all.
And nobody should consider that to be, well, Lamar Jackson always chokes. No, he played bad in the first half. Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, he outplayed Josh in that game.
In the second half, he came out and outplayed Josh. Now, I would say this, because I don't want everybody to start throwing rocks at us.
They can. They can. They're going to anyway.
That's probably right. That's probably right. But I feel obligated to say that I think Josh wasn't allowed to be Josh in the second half of that game, right? So I'll say a big portion of that was the loss of aggressiveness from the head coach. He didn't want to have to try to score points. He wanted to really avoid mistakes more than anything. He didn't want the mistakes to be the reason he lost the game. And I think that's usually what ends up getting killed in the playoffs anyways, is his fear of mistakes. And that's any defensive minded head coach anyway.
I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, my thing about that is, Josh, and this goes back to where I am with Josh. Josh has to be like, to hell what he says, what got us here is what we're going to do right now. We're going to keep the main thing a main thing.
Yeah.
And there's no way that Josh doesn't think that he has full autonomy. There's no way that he doesn't go out there and say, I can do what I want. He just doesn't want to do it because that's his nature. So if he turned it off, we all saw it. We all saw the difference in the momentum. We all saw the difference in the philosophy.
Yeah.
So that means he knew too. So are you going to buck the system, or are you going to follow the leader? And the leader is going to lead you down a path of no return. So I think for me, at that point, that's one of those deals where you turn in a Super Saiyan and you say, you know what, it's on me. Mario, you do this. James, it's on us. Let's rock.
Yeah.
Dion, get your line together. Let's roll. Never mind what they say. I'm changing the calls. I know it's going to work.
That's true.
And that's
true.
That's
that Jim Kelly stuff.
That's the Jim Kelly. That's the Peyton Manning stuff that I'm talking about. Like, yo, if we're talking about the greatest of, well, I don't know if he can be the greatest of all time, and that's not being funny. I don't, he could be close, but if you're talking about that level in years 8, 7, you got to start doing those things. You got to start doing. The playbook. It's the same system. Everything that they do.
Yeah.
What was working against Baltimore. You saw them earlier. You lost 35-10. You know what you did, and you know how they reacted. So you know how you got them on the ropes in this game. Let's not change this.
So do you see Josh's, I would call it timidity?
Yes.
Is that, would you say that that's probably been the biggest, I would say second biggest, the second biggest reason why the Bills haven't won yet?
I think so. I do. I think so. And it's funny because Kevin said Pagula's not safe. And it's funny because I was going to say that. The hierarchy is Josh, Sean, Pagula, and the rest of them. Because the fans hate Pagula because of the Sabres. So the fans will get rid of Pagula before they want to get rid of, then that's how this rocks. It rocks like that. So they be like, yo, give another owner the chance to work with Sean and Josh. That's what they would say. And let's see what happens. That's where I
didn't think Pagula was hated that much yet.
If you like the Sabres, yeah, he's hated. They can't stand him. They can't stand him. If you're only a Bills fan, you wouldn't know. But if you follow the Sabres at all, which I actually do, it's night and day.
I'm by all accounts of the word a fair weather fan when it comes to the Sabres. Like when they're great, I'm in. And this is the thing too. Like I like going to the games when they're bad because it's like I like watching hockey in person more than I like watching it on TV. Right. So it's nice because it's not crazy. It's not. But if they're good, of course, I'm gonna watch them on TV. Right. I don't want to be there because it's way too crazy for me. It's too much for sure. But Roy says, is it me or did the Bills just or did the Bills used to employ more stunts on the D line than they have recently?
No, it's not just you. That's honestly, you've been around. We've said it. Me and you have commiserated about it. That's 100%. That's true. That's what happens. They don't stunt. They want to win mano up front, 4 against 5. Let's go.
Yeah, and that really only started when Sean got here. To be perfectly honest, The only thing that Sean did with the defense that was different that we really I don't think we had seen this pretty much at all since maybe Nigel Bradham was here. But the use of that strong side linebacker as a blitzer.
Yep.
In the way that they used Lorenzo Alexander.
Yep.
Like that was something different that has existed for years, but the Bills just never did stuff like that. We have not had an elite defensive play caller here since what? Greg Williams? Short. I'll give you Schwartz. Yeah. I'll give you Schwartz. Okay, so since Schwartz, because by the time Rex Ryan got the job, he needed to be able to like clear the field, and he wasn't allowed to clear the field, and so we got what we got. So I can't even count that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of the defensive line doing anything other than just rushing and trying to cover gaps and trying to squeeze the pocket on mobile quarterbacks, like that's it. You're not going to see that. But that to me is more of I think that's more of a result of this ideology around rotating players.
And that's why I hate when people say Ed Oliver sucks, why they say Rousseau sucks and this, that, and third, because guess what? They're brought in to thrive. And think about the speed of Ed Oliver.
Yes.
Think about the movability of Greg Rousseau at that size. They say you can play inside, outside. If you're twisting, what are you doing? You're playing outside, inside, or inside, outside. You brought Daquan Jones. He's a perfect pin guy for this for a stunt.
Exactly.
But they don't do it. But then instead we say, why can't Greg Rousseau get off the block? Because he never could.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Ed Oliver, beat his man? Because he's small, but he's fast.
Yep.
Imagine that speed coming around and them having to find him, his little self. I mean, these are things that when you look at basketball, especially, that's my wheelhouse. They say, we know your spots. We know what you're good at. We're going to get you to your spot.
Mm-hmm.
If we know that Ed Oliver is good here, why do we not do it? You paid him $16 million. Everybody laughed at him, said that was a waste of a contract. But guess what? Use them the right way.
Yeah. Because
these are the guys that in the Kev. That's what I was talking about when I said cornerstone. Benford different only because, and I know this is where that line ends. You know what I'm talking about, Laura. You know as well. But Benford is different because you can't do but so much with a cornerback. Man, zone. Yeah. That's pretty much it. But a D line linebackers, the sky's the limit.
Exactly. There's
so many different ways you can use them, but they just don't do it. And it's funny that you said strong side. When the last time we had one of those?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Me and Laura were talking about yesterday about, she asked why is it, and how Laura, she's like, I don't want you to think I'm questioning you. You're not. You can ask, we'll talk.
Right.
But she said, why is it that you think Taron Johnson keeps us from playing the 4-3 or whatever, however she phases? I said, because they won't pull him off the field.
Right.
And by not doing so, you can't put that extra linebacker in.
Mm-hmm.
And what teams know is run a heavy set that way, you're good to go. Run 12 that way, you're good to go, because we just wash them out and do what we want with our 240-pound running back, Derrick Henry, or whoever else, maybe Devin A-Chain, who runs a 4-2 something or other. Get him a little slice of green and he's out of here.
Yep. Look, one of the things that I think Sean looked at when he thought about, I'm just going to assume he thought about all the different ways that he would want his defensive line to rush.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one of the weaknesses of doing a lot of movement with your defensive line is if you're going against a good offensive line, and correct me if I'm wrong,
mm-hmm.
if you're going against a good offensive line that has good communication and is very disciplined, and that twist or that stunt doesn't work, one of two things happens. And sometimes both. The first thing is your pass rush is slowed down, right? Because what would normally be a 2.5 second pass rush has now become a 3 to 3.5 second pass rush, mm-hmm. because of all the additional movement that's required to create pressure, right? But the other part of that too is if you're going against a good communicative, disciplined offensive line, and you don't run your stunt or your whatever you're running the right way or efficiently, I should say, there's a nice big old gap somewhere in that offensive
mm-hmm.
line for the quarterback to escape through mm-hmm. and really make you pay.
And see, that's where you need that Terrell Bernard, you need that Matt Milano to fill in those gaps. Also, what I like about a twist and stunt, even when it fails, This is where you cheat. Stay with me now.
Stay with me now.
What they teach you is this: when you're stacked up. One time I told you guys, they told us if you get beat, just fall down. Pull the guy with you. So you're already engaged. You fall down. You got him here. So the refs don't see this. You fall down. You pull him with you. He's on top of you. Pancake. You lost a rep, but guess what? You clear a hole.
Yeah.
Also, there's another thing you can do where you got, because at some point they got to pass you off when you're twisting.
Yeah.
If you grab the outside arm with the inside hand, he can't get both hands on the guy that's coming around. So guess what? Even if he doesn't get to that gap, the quarterback is now confused, because now he's like, I got to figure out where the rush is coming from now. And now I got to find out where my receivers are in their routes. And hopefully we have a back five that's decent enough to get to their spots and maybe, you know, sit in the route or even move with the guy. Because all they're doing is flowing to make the quarterback confused at what he's saying in real time. Because now he's thinking about Ed Oliver's not coming from there now. He's somewhere here, but I don't know where, because I got to look down there and see where Tyreek Hill is now, because I missed my timing route.
Right.
See, if you're running a timing offense, the twist, even if it doesn't work, it's gonna blow everything out of proportion. See, that's the thing, people, and that's where, like, to your point about pressures, that's when pressures matter.
Yeah.
But when you go 4 up, it doesn't matter, because Mahomes knows Rousseau's over there, that guy is there,
right.
Oliver's here, and I know they're all coming from, you know, so their guys not to talk. He's not, because when you're on the field as a quarterback, you're hearing the offensive line talking. You don't hear that on TV because it's a loud crowd. And one, the crowd does matter, because you got to hear twist, stunt, stuff like that. They're screaming out the whole time. I got him, pass off, this, that. But now Mahomes has to hear this, but he don't know who's saying what. So he doesn't know if Oliver's coming from the inside, if Rousseau's coming from the inside. And think about it, Rousseau is 6'7". If he's coming inside, guess what? Mahomes has to know he can jump and knock my ball down. So I got to know where he is at all times. It gets so much more. See, people don't understand this stuff when they listen to a front four rush. Why does a twist matter? Why does a stunt matter? It matters. And when they employ these tall guys that they talk about, we want all this length. What are you doing with it? How many balls are you batting down? How many balls are being affected by here he goes, being affected by the length of the defenders that are coming towards the quarterback. You know, that's the thing that really, it complicates an offensive scheme, and that's what keeps offensive coordinators awake at night, quarterbacks awake at night. Yeah.
Kev on a roll, man. He said McDermott's supposed to know this if you're a real DC. Look,
I'm a jabroni and I know this.
Sean, yeah, I mean, realistically, Sean was only a Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator for what, 3-4 years before he got the job here. That to me, with the pieces he had and a team that was for most of McDermott's career led by Cam Newton, I don't know if I can chalk up Sean McDermott's tenure as like this. I'll put it like this: he's not Spags. He's not even Schwartz. Realistically, if you look at the pieces he had, the way that they were deployed, I think this point here stands out more than anything else. If you go back and do your own research, for all 537 people watching us right now, thank you to all of you. 538 now. Go and watch the Carolina Panthers play defense. After a while, you'll see that most of what the front seven is doing is more based off of Luke Kuechly and Kawan Short and the playmakers that they had up front there than it was scheme. The scheme really only came into play when you saw very average safeties, very old safeties, play like playmakers. And you saw the year after that, after the Super Bowl, you saw this team play with 2 rookies that came in and looked like vets right away. And you learned at that point, this guy is great with DBs. The scheme he employs, you can pretty much throw anybody in there and they will be just fine. He knows how to protect those guys. But everything in front of those guys was playmaker, great player. I mean, Shaq Thompson was on the team for a couple of years. Thomas Davis was still there. Like, that linebacking core was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then the guys on the defensive line, he had Coney Ely, Kawan Short. Like, he had some dogs on that defensive line. So I'm saying all this to say, I think what Kev has said is not unrealistic at all as far as a perspective to have about Sean McDermott. It's true when you go back and do the research.
I'll answer for you. Would you consider McDermott to be a conservative? Yes.
100%.
Yeah, I would.
100%. Yep. D said, don't forget they also had Julius Peppers putting pressure on QBs. If I'm not mistaken, I think Julius Peppers had left the year before McDermott got there.
I think Peppers was gone.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was. The only elite outside pass rusher I remember them having at that point in time was
they had Jared Allen once.
Was it Charles Johnson?
They had Charles Johnson.
Yeah. Charles Johnson, I think, was the best pass rusher they had, and they had just drafted Coney Ely the year they went to the Super Bowl. But yeah, I mean, thank you, Billy D. He said key word is some dogs. I mean, look, I think the name of the game right now is just understanding that we have a good team, but this team that is so good and has so much potential on it hasn't reached its potential yet.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fair question I think it's a fair thing to ask why. You know what I mean? Why? I would ask all of you, why not ask why? What is asking why gonna hurt? Aside from maybe putting you in a position where people are looking at you sideways and wondering why you're not just enjoying all the winning.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, he's scared, but even in the games where we are dominating, where we're winning, he doesn't put his foot on anybody's throat ever. He never goes for a knockout punch.
Yep.
You know, he's a guy that'll pull out people just so he doesn't hurt other teams. I think he said it one time. You know,
in the Denver game.
Yeah, he pulled him because we did enough. We don't want to showboat this, whatever. Yes, you do. Because you got to make an example.
Exactly.
You got to make an example. You know, you want people to hate you and fall into the trap. They're gonna try to put 70 up on us. Yeah, we are.
Right.
You know, we're not trying to. We want that situation where, what was it? Jim Harbaugh and who was it? John Harbaugh and Jim Swartz or whoever it was, where they did the handshake and I guess he shook his hand to her and dude got mad. The Swartz got mad.
It was. Yeah, I think it was actually. Yeah. It was John Harbaugh. Yeah.
Yeah, we want that. That's what we want. And I honestly, I don't think he's scared. I really don't. I mean, you could. I'm not going to argue that point, but I think that's him being him. Even when he's confident, when I think he really thinks he's grooving out there. I really think he does. I think he gets up there, he does his dance. He's like, yeah, we gave it to him, but you didn't. You know, right. I think he's like, enough. Call off the dogs. No, we don't call off the dogs, and that's the difference. I think he says call off the dogs when you don't want to do that. In a division, we're playing the Dolphins. The first game, we're beating them by 30. We'll say, beat them by 50 because you're going to play them again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Patriots, make an example out of them. You know, put their head on the stake, but he won't do. He never will. And that's why everybody talks about winning those close games because they shouldn't be close.
Right.
Should have mollywopped them. Yeah, that's a word I brought off from the early 90s.
Mollywop.
So let's psychoanalyze Sean for just a second here, because I think this brings some context into why he is the way he is. Mm-hmm. Right. There's certain things in our lives that are considered formative in terms of our experiences. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't understand what formative means from a psychology standpoint, it just means these are events that happen in our lives that kind of shape our thinking, our thinking, our ideology, our perspective, in a sense. When you look at Sean McDermott's biggest success of his life, it was winning a championship as a wrestler. He was a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
And the formative effect from that is the understanding of the way that winning that wrestling matches are won. Now, I don't watch a ton of wrestling, but everything that I'm familiar with when it comes to wrestling is there aren't many matches that are just flat out dominated and guys run away score-wise.
Right.
Everything is tightly contested. Everything is wins at the last second. Everything is struggle to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And when you understand that, and you understand that that's his true background, that's his true background, that's his true resume, in a sense, of what makes you qualified to lead a team. Well, I've won on a world stage in a world-class fashion at the highest level of wrestling. So
mm-hmm.
I know what it takes to win a championship. Okay, that makes sense. If you have been a champion before, you do have some understanding of what it takes to win. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean it translates to everywhere you go. What people do is what people should be doing with those experiences is taking all of it with a grain of salt, just taking bits and pieces from each experience and not trying to just broad spectrum apply everything.
Right.
Or broad spectrum apply that one experience to everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And looking at the way that Sean coaches this team and the way that he employs his defense, he's fine winning a game 14-10. He's fine winning a game 6-7.
Right.
Those struggles to him are like, this was a strong, traditionally hard fought, physical game. And he takes pride in that. Why? Why would a person take pride in that unless it's all they knew?
Right.
Right? There's a reason he got fired from Philly. And Philly was supposed to be the most favorable position he could possibly have at that point in his career, aside from where he is now. Right? He studied up under Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson retired. They immediately gave the job to him. Like, right after Joe Johnson retired, you're the defensive coordinator. They didn't need to interview. You don't have to for assistant positions or for coordinator positions either. You don't have to, like the Rooney Rule.
It doesn't apply.
Right. It's only for head coaches.
Right.
So they gave him the job right after that. Andy Reid was familiar with him. Joe Johnson probably vouched for him because he, that Sean McDermott kind of came up under Joe. But a year after having that job and what the players had to say about him and how complicated the scheme was, and he, the what Sean wanted from his defensive locker room didn't fit what the players were looking for, he got fired.
Right.
Like Andy saw this is not going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, people talk about defensive people love close games. I don't think that's necessarily true, just based on being defensive. And there's nothing you just said. I just thought about it. When I'm a defensive guy, like I love that. And Laura brought it home really. Like, I can't tell you anything about who I want to draft in our defensive draft because I don't want you to take them. Like, you can talk to me. We'll talk about it easily. I'm not going to steal your guy. But I was like, you know what? I love defense. Like, I love defense, but I also love the big hits. I also love pick sixes. I also love sacks. I also love, the athletic high point ball knockdowns. I love this stuff. And this is the stuff we don't see in Buffalo. We see the form tackles. We see the gang tackles, hold up. But we don't even see peanut punches like that. At one point we had that. Where I mean, UB was at one point one of the leaders in the nation in fumbles forced when Khalil Mack was here, because they had Peanut Tillman come in and show them how to do the peanut punch, and and it sounds funny, but that's really the name of the maneuver. But these are the things that you don't see guys raking at balls and trying to pull it out before it gets to the ground. You don't see that stuff. Right. You see them live to play another game, another day. Get off the field. That's why we had such a poor performance on third down, because it was always don't let them get too much. Let's go for the jugular. If they get it, they get it. We got Josh Allen. We got James Cook. We got Khalil Shakir. We got guys.
Right.
And we can get that back. But imagine what happens if we get it. Imagine what happens if they can't punt. Imagine what happens if we twist and they don't know where Ed Oliver's coming from after he just knocked Pat Mahomes' head off the last play. Yeah. Imagine what this could unlock. And this is why I get so passionate when we talk about, the defense and stuff like that, because you look at it twinkling my eye. But imagine what it could do. I mean, it's another dynamic that's like psychological.
Right.
It's psychological. And that's what we don't employ that at all with our defense.
I to add to your point, I think one of the things that we loved about Chan Gailey so much was what he was able to do with a cast full of characters that nobody else would otherwise hire or employ in that fashion. And I think looking at what we have, everything after Josh Allen, I think would be that same cast of characters that you wouldn't think would be stars on any other team,
right.
But
and both like.
Right, but the way Sean is using his defense, they're the number one defense in the league, the number one in sacks, the number one in interception. Why? Because how they're being used is so elite, it's not even funny. Right. And I think that's what we're both looking for from the entirety of the team. Mm-hmm. Offensively, I think Joe Brady has done a good job of giving Sean what he wants in terms of efficiency. But what he's been able to do with this cast of characters, even last year, is like, yo, bravo, freaking low.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see on defense.
Yeah, I would love to see Sean McDermott get Coach of the Year because of what he had to do with the defense that he had.
Right.
Like they say about Josh, with what he was working with Sean has this. He got He had the number one intercepting team, number one no-fly zone in the league with DeMar Hamlin back there.
Yeah.
With whoever, with Christian Benford and whoever the hell was over there. You know, when you can get to that level, it's like, all right, cool. Now we got something.
Yeah.
But you know, we're not there. Now it's like the defense is just don't lose us the game.
Right.
Defense, go win us a game. Go win us one. Josh Allen went 9 for 30 in the game. Defense.
Right.
Hello. Go win that.
Somebody make a key play, take the ball
Take
away,
the ball away.
Get a nail in the coffin sack or something like that. You know what I mean? Knock somebody out of the game. So it's, you know, something.
Just make your presence felt.
Right.
You know, in Buffalo, we have the running of the Bulls, or running of the Bulls, I guess you'll say.
Okay.
Even at the Bills, because you've gone to the Bills games, when they come out of the tunnel, what they have out there lining the tunnel?
They got the Buffaloes.
The Buffaloes with the smoke coming out.
Yep.
Where is the smoke coming out of this defense's nose? And it's not November, December. I don't want to wait till then. I want to see smoke coming out of their nose in September.
Right.
In the heat. We got Florida boys. These guys on the team ain't from up north no more. We got Florida boys down there. We got Georgia boys. These guys are used to the heat. Yep. So go win one in Miami. Go win one in Texas. Go win one. I don't want to hear no excuses about that stuff anymore. I want this defense to be dominant. I don't want to hear about with who. It doesn't matter. You got a defensive-minded head coach. You got his disciple in Babbage, whose dad was a great linebacker coach. Babbage was a safety coach. Go win one, defense. Right. Let Josh Allen go have some Kool-Aid. We got this.
Yep.
James Cook said it. Khalil Shakir said it. Defense, your turn.
We gotta get moving. Look.
Are you not entertained? No, I'm joking.
No, I got like 3 other things I want to get to, and I know you got some stuff too.
No, I know I got stuff on what you got the thumbnail on. So go ahead.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Adam Schefter just posted the Patriots just reached an agreement on a fully guaranteed deal with 2nd round pick TreVeyon Henderson, a running back, by the way. Thoughts on that?
Fully guaranteed on a running back.
I love saying it for a running back. Fully guaranteed for a running back. The Patriots just did this.
That's never played.
Never played a game. Fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed. So, okay, wait, he got drafted. I'm not gonna go through that. I don't remember where he came out, but yeah, I mean, TJ Sanders got a 94% guaranteed contract.
Yep.
Now we got Henderson and fully guaranteed, and so they really believe in their running back. They still have Ramondre Stevenson, I believe.
Yes, they do.
So they're investing in their running back room. The Bills need to pony up, and whether it be James Cook or whether it be a high draft pick next year, which one do you guys want? I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about who's in this draft, and there's nobody dynamic like Cook in there. There's they're all Ray Davis level. They're not level Ray Davis type.
Yep.
You know, so you're not going to have the breakaway guys. Yes, all the top guys. So if you like that, which this team has kind of gotten away from blocking for, they're blocking more for those shifty guys. Where Darrington Evans actually might see some burn at some point if he can make it when James Cook is gone, if he does leave. So yeah, that's an eye opener. Fully guaranteed for a 2nd round running back that's never played.
Yeah. Albert, I hope you're trolling. He said he's a good blocker, so I think it works. I think that's hilarious if you're trolling. If you're not, okay. I mean, I don't know what his numbers on blocking are.
He wasn't great. He wasn't great. But you know, nobody in this past draft was great at pass blocking. Outside of maybe one guy, which I can't remember who it was, but yeah, Henderson, he's okay, but he's not somebody you're gonna keep back there. And I think that it lends to the fact I was listening to Ostrowski and Jeremy White, and they were talking about, how do you get James Cook on the field? How do you pay him? He has to play more than 2 downs. And I think Ostrowski was like, well, we're talking about a team that runs more 5-man blocking schemes than any other league. What was it? 20%, I think, of their snaps was a run block and running back staying home to block. So why do you not have James Cook out there running wheel routes? Why do you not have James Cook out there running flats routes? Why do you not have James Cook out there on 3rd down doing these kind of things, as opposed to pulling him off the field and taking his skill set off the field? You know, you could have James Cook and Ty Johnson if you wanted to. Take Kincaid off the field. You know, you could do things like that, because which one is better in space, Cook or Kincaid? But that's just them being coaching the coaches. I mean, yeah, they it's like they talk about how progressive, how innovative they are, but they're really not. They've shown you that over and over and over again. This team is not innovative at all. They do traditional stuff, and they do it with different players, and they tell you different things, and they hope you don't watch the tape like the way that we do.
I like this take. You got to make sure he got guys. You got to make sure the guys got cash to hang with Diggs. Yeah, you this man buying castles and stuff for his folk.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that.
He was.
I've seen you make some jokes a few times.
He was. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He was the best player, but he wasn't great. He was.
D says don't sleep on the Patriots. They building something over there. Plus, Vrabel is a good coach, and he has Josh McDaniels as OC. Look, there's an article on NFL.com right now predicting the Patriots to win the division this coming season.
This year, no. I can see it. Not this year. I can see it coming soon.
Yeah.
And I think I was a year early. I think I said it before last season that the Patriots are going to be, the team to watch out for. The Dolphins, they're falling by the wayside. They're going to fire Silver, and they're getting rid of everybody. So I think the Patriots are the team to beat. The Jets, I'm still not worried about. But yeah, Vrabel, I mean, he was okay. For me, everybody gave him more credit than I thought, but I didn't pay attention to Tennessee, and they had Derrick Henry as well. So I felt like with Vrabel, it was masked by where they were and how they played. They played a lot of runs. Obviously, Derrick Henry was running over 325 times a season, and he wasn't running at a high clip per. It was like 3.9 or 4.2 yards a carry. That was what he was getting in Tennessee. But it seems like Vrabel is a better leader of men, and Josh McDaniels is why Mac Hollins went to New England. Obviously they paid him more money, but Mac Hollins had his best season with Josh McDaniels. So he said, I like playing with him.
In Vegas.
Yeah,
that's right.
So he said, I liked him, and I'll go back with him. That's right. And they got Kyle Williams. Yeah, they got Kyle Williams as well. Kyle Williams, like I said, I'm still not going to give up on the two that they drafted last year. I know their hands are not
Jalen Polk
and Javon Baker.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. One of those two will probably do something. Not a lot this year, but something. I think it'll get better.
Yeah. Vrabel always had an identity for sure. I always liked that about him. Donnie Foster said we need receivers for sure. What's going on, Bully? He said he better be a championship whisperer.
I was going to touch on Donnie real quick. I didn't want to get into it, but on the list, the ESPN list came out, and we were the 28th ranked skill position team.
Yep.
You realize if the trend continues, next year will be the worst in the league, because in 2023 we were 20th, 2024 we were 24th, this year we're 28th. Next year ain't nowhere else to be but last. If you lose 4 every time, and but Bean gets on there and has a latitude to tell Jeremy White and Joe DiBiase to shut the hell up. I know what I'm doing. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Other teams are getting better in their skill positions. And this article even went on to say the only reason they're 24 is because James Cook. The only reason.
Yep. The 2026 cap space situation for the Buffalo Bills currently is minus $3.13 million. We're already $3 million in the hole
next year.
So it won't be we'll shave some people off the books and we'll get some better receivers in here. Help ain't coming until 2027. Like we said at the start of the show, 2027 is when you're going to see about $40 million of cap space. You're going to have a bunch of guys on void years that year, but at least you'll have a big chunk of money to kind of go and get some replacements.
Yeah.
But that's 2 years from now. We don't know what Josh's body is going to go through in 2 years. We don't know who's going to be here in 2 years.
They keep doing this. You know what Josh's body is going to look like.
Exactly.
He'll be 31 in 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So all right. So let's transition here. There's for those of you who've seen this, bear with us. But for those of you who don't watch Good Morning Football, did you see what Kyle Brandt said? Okay, so Kyle Brandt did this study on players who get married, and this is good stuff,
I
bro.
believe it, but
you know how they are. They always get into like social aspects of players' lives and stuff like that.
This is for Dorothy right here.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, he did a study that found that NFL players who get married typically end up having a career year that same year, right? And It's all good, man. It's all good. We used to you popping in when you get a chance. We all right.
We all good.
So he did the study that showed that players who get married end up having a career year in the NFL the same year that they get married, or I guess what the next upcoming season after they get married. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is really good, but wait, what about the players that didn't? Well, by the time I got to the end of this segment that he had talking about this, he had found that there are no players that did not have a career year after they got married in the NFL. None. Basically, what this means is we should expect Josh Allen to have a career year. So my question to you and to everybody watching is going to be, what would another MVP season from Josh look like? Because if we're talking about a career year, his best career year was 2022, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of like 2020. That's right. Yep. Yeah, yardage and touchdown totals.
Yeah, he went ballistic.
Right, that was his best year. So he didn't win it that year, but that's what he would have to beat in order. Do you have the stats for that, or I can pull those up?
What are you looking for?
His 2020 stats.
I can get them.
All right. But that's essentially what we would be talking about Josh Allen beating, right? And if I'm not mistaken, he had he was over 4,000 yards. I think he had like
2020 at 4,500 yards, 69.2% completions, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he ran for, what is this here? A second here. He ran for 287 yards, and how many touchdowns do we have?
Roy said, but the turnovers.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's always going to hinder. That's going to be the hindrance on him. Yeah. He had 8 rushing touchdowns.
8 rushing touchdowns. Okay, so Snarl is saying 40 passing touchdowns, 5,000 yards, 5 interceptions, 500 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. Bro, that's an MVP season.
I like
easily.
I like this here. See, this is what we got to put in perspective. When you're talking about back-to-back MVPs, it's only happened a handful of times. Jim Brown, 1957, 1958. He won the award as rookie year. He doubled production in 1958. So basically, he doubled his yards, doubled his touchdowns. Joe Montana, 89 and 90. He led the Niners to the continued dominance. It was a dynasty at the point. He was 89 Offensive Player of the Year. He went 11-2 and then 14-1. So the team got better the next year. Brett Favre, he did it 3 times in a row: 95, 96, 97.
Sure
Offensive
did.
Player of the Year, 95. He was a second place Offensive Player of the Year, 96. Third place Offensive Player of the Year, 97. He went 11-5 in 95, 13-3 in 96 and 97. Peyton Manning, he did it twice. He did it in 2003, 2004, and then 2008, 2009. He's the only player to ever do it 2 separate times. Aaron Rodgers in 2021, he did it in his late 30s. He had 4,000 yards both seasons, 4,000 plus yards both seasons, 50 touchdowns in 2020, or almost 50. I think he had 47 in 2020, to 5 interceptions. He had 47 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 37 touchdowns in 2021 to 4 interceptions. So, I mean, to go on to your point, what do I think Josh said? I don't even think it's something Josh can really even do per se. I think there's a lot of variables, and I'm going to play devil's advocate on this point.
Okay.
I'd never do this.
I know. It's very interesting.
Okay, so in order for Josh to repeat, the team has to finish number 1 in the AFC.
Okay.
They have to finish number 1. If the Bills if he leads the Bills past the Chiefs and the Ravens in the standings, he should get the double up.
Okay.
But in doing so, he can't have a 1,000-yard receiver. Because the reason why he won last year
is because he didn't have one.
Because he had nothing.
That's
right.
He
did everything with nothing.
Oh, so he would have to do a lot more running this season.
He has to do a lot more running. So he got the reward due to the perceived lack of help. The third thing, he's got to have more passing touchdowns, the most passing touchdowns in the league. Passing touchdowns. Because everybody's talking about, 15, I know that, but he had 15 rushing touchdowns. To be the quarterback, you got to pass, because he's never had 40 touchdowns in a season. His highest was in 2020 with 37. And if you look at his best season within the last 5 years, stacked across the league, he's 12th. He's at the 12th highest touchdown total.
Wow.
In his best year. So he's gotta bring that up.
Yeah.
Let's see, where are we? James Cook has a fall on his face. James Cook cannot have an elite season, because if he has an elite season, Just like Lamar Jackson. Well, he didn't win because Derrick Henry was there.
Yeah, they were saying about James. They were saying that about James Cook last year. Oh well, he should. So what do we have? King Henry, y'all got James Cook. No, it's not the same.
The nation said no. The nation does say that, and I smiled. I smiled greatly.
Right.
It's just the fact, it's just the fact that my girl didn't win homecoming, but at least she's mentioned. That's kind of what that is for me. They mentioned my girl. She didn't win, but they know her now. So they know James Cook. He's a name out there, and he knows this. That's why he's saying, I want money.
Right.
We're looking at like we're the Bills fans, but I'm telling you, James Cook is that guy. The other team's like, Buffalo, F this one up, please.
Yep, they waiting.
F it up. Because we gonna make this money.
Yeah.
And he gonna be here, and he gonna do his thing. Okay, so gotta have numerous offensive injuries. That goes back into the point of he did more with less. We have a top line, least sack quarterback. You can't really get better than that.
True.
But he has to really have more fourth quarter comebacks. He had 2 last year. Outside of 2021, which was his fewest with 0, he has 21 fourth quarter comebacks in his career. Now, is that his fault? No, but people can say, well, did he really put the team on his back and win a game? Did it twice. You could say that.
Yeah.
And he had no fourth quarter comebacks last year. So if he was losing in the fourth quarter, he lost. He had 13 in his career. So you got to have more of those because, captain comebacks and Aaron Rodgers and this, that, and third.
Yep.
But for me, the biggest thing is not measured in stats. If you remember this one play, Kansas City, 25-yard touchdown where he's ping-ponging off guys, touchdown. What did the announcer say? The play of the year on national TV. That's the play of the year. He's got to have more highlight plays because people talk about the Amari Cooper catch, and I put that's Amari for me.
True.
I mean, Josh, yeah. But see, he lives in that back area, and I want to get into that. That's another thing I want to talk about just for a second and after you go through, your thing, because I do want to have a dialogue with you about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he has to have more plays because if you ask me, the most exciting play of the season was when he scrambled to the right. He just launched that thing to Khalil Shakir, and he broke the tackle's touchdown. That was the play for me because the wherewithal to throw the ball to Shakir while you're falling out of bounds got hit.
Mm-hmm.
And you still made that play. That's the play for me.
Yeah.
We need more of those national recognized plays because he's got to be put on the map in a fashion that he never was before.
Right.
People know Josh. They know what he's capable of, but you have to put it on paper now.
Right.
So I think those are, did I have anything? No, those are the major things I think you need to have for Josh Allen to get to 2-peat.
Yeah, I think a lot of what Sean has done in the name of efficiency is take an alpha lion and walk him through a dog show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, don't roar, don't jump, don't show people how athletic you are. Don't show people how great you are. Just prance around and look pretty.
Right.
That's it. Just stay in the pocket, stay in the zone. Don't do nothing spectacular because you run the risk of falling off the stand and losing us to competition. Anyway. I appreciate the devil's advocate. For those of you that still have some dry cornflakes that Key did not pee on, I did.
Well, let me just touch on Roy.
Sure.
Roy said, "What were Lamar's numbers for his MVP season?" Guess what? Who was the number 1 team in the league in 2023 in the AFC East? 2023. Baltimore 13-4. The Bills 11-6. Kansas City 11-6. He was the number 1 team. That's what it takes. And like I just said, the first point, they got to finish number 1 in the AFC East.
Yeah.
Or AFC, I'm sorry, not just the East.
In the conference. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. So aside from that aspect of what is going to be part of the reason that Josh has a career year is Josh is also changing his diet this season. He's now cutting out butter and dairy, according to this article from who's this from? Business Insider.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's cutting out those 2 foods.
What were the 2 foods? Because I'm not cutting them out, as you can see.
But butter and dairy.
Oh, I can't do dairy. Butter, please. That's going in everything. Butter's going in everything.
I get it. Just everything just tastes better.
Right.
But I mean, look, you got a quarterback in his prime, just got married, with the study that's showing that he's about to have a career year, with him changing his diet to now be healthier, which means he's going to be more durable, more in peak shape on a regular, just consistently, I guess, to put it in a nutshell. To me, I think this completely removes any excuses as to why the offense cannot get it done against anybody this season, right? Because it's always been about however Josh moves is how the team moves, right? And last year it was, well, he's not running so much because his hand is busted. Okay. You're gonna have a Josh Allen that is peak mentally, peak emotionally, and peak physically. There is no more, well, Josh needs to improve in that. No, this is going to be it.
Right.
This is the best he will ever be this season in terms of everything, every metric that we have right now. Every metric that we have right now says this is going to be the best that we will ever see from Josh ever. So you combine that with the schedule. You combine that with the landscape of the AFC and how everybody is still fairly, too weak to pose a huge threat to you right now. You got to do it this year.
Right.
On top of the storyline and how perfect it would be for the Bills to end the tenure of Ralph Wilson Stadium with a Super Bowl win. What better storyline is there in the NFL right now other than that? So, to kind of cap this conversation, I think
cap it. No, talk.
Well, no, because there's one more thing that we got to get to, and we got like 30 minutes left.
Okay,
so.
okay, yeah. You did. There was a couple of things there I wanted to.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
No, finish your thought. Yeah.
No, I'm just, I guess to cap it, I think we should be very excited for another MVP race with Josh Allen.
For sure.
But while we're here, and while I have the opportunity to kind of slide this on the plate a little bit, this does also put a lot of pressure on Sean McDermott because you got a guy that's coming into the season like this with these kind of expectations, and these expectations are not unfounded in any way, shape, or form based on the player and based on what the history says. If you don't get it done this season with that guy in that shape, in that position,
oh God, I'm
getting a rebuttal together. No, thank you, Dorothy. But yeah, I mean, this has got to be the season. This has got to be the season. And if we don't see it, if we don't see, if we don't see Sean kind of try to take advantage of this as best as he can, and we fall short because of some of the same issues in the playoffs again, we got to have a real conversation about some change up top. And I'm not just talking about Sean McDermott.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I really, like I said, I think I might have put that bug in your, put that in your thought about, it really is before is Fagula. It's before the guy I like to bang on Bean is before McDermott. It's Fagula. That's the head of the monster. Yep. Yeah. And it's funny because let's see, Albert, he said, first thing Albert said was the toss back touchdown was better. Okay, see, this is why I don't say a toss back touchdown. There was too many variables. One, it was a tough catch by Amari Cooper because he put it behind. He put it, I think it was behind him or low or something like that. And then this is the thing I didn't understand that they got really lucky on. His forward momentum was stopped. The whistle never blew. So yeah, Josh runs over there, says whatever, but Cooper's had a wherewithal to make the play to pass it back. And he's got two guys on him, so Josh has got to get the outside. He's in the end zone. So it was a great play, but I put that more on Cooper than I do Josh and the refs. Get that?
The refs helping the Bills?
Oh, they swallowed their whistle on that one. I'm pretty.
Sure did.
And me and Matt were sitting right there where we were sitting, like literally right there where it happened. So I saw it and I was like, they didn't blow the whistle. Cool. Because I was waiting. I sat there and everybody's high five. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did anybody hear a whistle? And I'm like, I don't want this to play out. Nathan said Torrance is as critical to the offensive line as any of them are. Okay, so this is the thing. If you listen to most Bills podcasts, most Bills radio, this and third, nobody wants Torrance back after this contract.
What?
Because I forget who it was, but the going rate for a guard is about 20 million. They're like, he's not worth 20 million. Yes. So they're like, bye-bye, can't have it. I don't at me because I didn't say that, but I'm just telling you what I heard. A lot of people, if you read the comments, they have no I don't want him. I don't want him. He can go. He's not worth it. He's average at best, blah, blah, blah. Like,
this is what they're saying.
Yeah. Oh, it's not me. Yeah. They're automatically already. You're getting James Cook contract because they're conditioning themselves already.
What does it, okay. This is this is where I get a brain ache. So this is how cyclical and how cynical this situation is, and the fans don't even realize they're doing it to themselves.
Right.
How dare you say that Torrance is not worth 20 million, but he's one of the best offensive linemen we have? You say that, not me.
Right.
You, the fans, say he's one of the best offensive linemen. You say that, not me. Right? So he's one of the best offensive linemen we have. You're fine giving Deion Dawkins an extension this year when he really didn't need it or deserve it.
Right.
But you don't want to pay the next best guy on your offensive line. Right. The third best behind Spencer. You don't want to pay him 20 million. So let me get this straight. So the interior of the offensive line, which is probably more important than your tackle play when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, you want to just let that go.
Yeah, all three of them would be gone. Because David Edwards, he's on his last year.
McGovern's not getting re-signed. He's gone.
Yeah, he's out of here. So you got Van Pran, which I'm cool with. Depending on how they employ him. If you're gonna use him the right way, which I have faith in Cromer. So Cromer I have faith in. So I'm not too worried about that. McGovern was better than expected, but he's not somebody I have to have. Torrance, yes, I would like to have Torrance. I would love to have Torrance back. We want to keep the right side of the line intact.
So here's where it gets cynical, or cyclical, I should say. Bills fans have this tendency of, well, no, he's not worth that much. Let him go, right? But when you and I sit on this show and talk about how all of these guys are tryhards and all of these guys are not, the guys with the most talent and all that kind of, oh, why are you disrespecting our players? Why are you talking about our guys? These guys play, they give it everything they got. Like now you want to defend the player. Yep. So when we say that the player is not elite or not talented or not top 5, we're the problem. Yeah, but when it comes time for that guy to get paid, he's not worth it.
We're clowns.
Right. That's where I get the brain cramp from. You can't have it both ways. You can't have a guy that's not elite, right? And defend him and say, well, he is elite, he is great, he is this and he is that, right? And stop other people from talking stuff about him, but then turn around and when it's contract time, oh, he's not worth that.
Right.
How does that work? That math ain't mathing.
I think people don't understand the going rate for good to great players. They think everybody's going to take a hometown discount, and when you don't, you get tired and feathered.
Exactly.
That's what it is. I mean, isn't the who was Sauce Gardner? We talked to Dorothy ad nauseum about this. Which one's better, Benford or Gardner? Obviously, she's going to say Benford, and I would agree. I'd take Benford in the system, over any Gardner. But how do you get paid $14 million more?
Right.
How does that work? We love this guy because he takes this discount. He didn't. Yes, he did. He did.
I'm sure somewhere in that conversation is like, hey, Benford, listen, you owe us, right?
Right. It is. We took you in the 6th round. We took a leap of faith on you. We could have had guy X, but we believed in you.
That's right.
We started you over our number 1 guy, and we still have a job somehow. But you need to stay here. Benford's like, all right, cool. They just like, fam. That's like one of those deals where you ever had the time where you with your parent, you're a kid, and you say the wrong thing, and like you get all leverage up, and they like nudge you in the arm or whatever.
Kick
That's
you
what
under
it
the
is.
table.
Shut up. You're ruining everything here. Just shut up. I got this. And he's like, no, I want to stay here. Collusion Scandal. You telling me nobody wanted to pay these guys more than what they got? Nobody? I don't want to hear. I can't entertain that.
Bills do good work at convincing players that nobody else wants them.
They really do, and that was evident by what we heard on the Rock Power Report with whoever. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but I'm pointing at the camera like he's watching right now. But if you are, I don't know your name, and I'm sorry about that. But you made a good point. With Shaq Lawson, they told him, that this is you did this, you do this, you're not that, you're not this, you're not that, and here's our number. All right, so once we're not negotiating. This is our number.
Mm-hmm.
Take it or leave it. And Shaq, like, what the hell was that about? But I appreciate you being upfront. No, don't be upfront. We're negotiating.
Right.
And that's why we're going to lose Cook. That's why McGovern said, let the business be the business. McGovern said it. He just didn't tweet a number. We don't know what his number is. That's the only leverage he has over Cook. We don't know what his number is. Which one's better, Cook or McGovern? Right. Which one's more important, Cook or McGovern? But because Cook said a number, now he's the bad guy. Now he's the diva. Now because he won't take the team discount, who knows what they're offering him? Now it's his problem. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this whole deal. In if you're talking about a front office that just know how to talk to people, they just know how to convince people. They're very good at selling those cars, and they're going to keep selling cars.
Yeah. So there is. I want to talk about James Cook just for a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
But first and foremost, I want to shout out Lindsay. I haven't seen Lindsay. Where you been, girl?
There she is.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. She says, if it was me, I would have paid Torrance the bag before Benford. Our right side of the O-line is the strongest in the NFL.
Yep.
I like it.
I agree.
I definitely would have done that. I mean, to be perfectly honest, with the knowledge that the scheme is what it is and it can produce corners like Levi Wallace and Christian Benford undrafted in 6th round, why even pay a guy? Mm-hmm. If it's like that, if it's truly like that, just draft a guy.
Right.
Who cares? He's going to be good in the system anyway because the system is what it is with Sean McDermott. Right. So you don't need to pay him. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
I was going to say Donnie Foster said, he said something to the effect of, why is it that we're not trying to get Josh more help at wide receiver? I can answer that for you. You've said it. And I don't know if you watched Bill Squad with Jeremy White and Jerry Ostrowski. John Scott was on for a segment. He said it, and it dashed all my hopes of having a real offense. He said, once again, this is the offense that Josh wants. He wants in everybody's offense. He doesn't want to have that clear-cut number one guy. He wants a background field where nobody knows who's going to get the ball at any given time. He doesn't want one person to get attention. Not in the narcissistic way, but I'm saying he doesn't want all the coverage to slide to one person. He wants everybody to be able to do stuff. So you're not going to see with Josh Allen, as long as he has a say where you're going to have a premier wide receiver, it's not going to happen. And you've said it you've heard, and we had background people that are really in the know that told us the same thing. And now John Scott said it on wax, if you will. He said it. He's put it in video form. Josh Allen does not want or need or desire a number one wide receiver.
I mean, from a quarterback standpoint, I get it. It's so much easier when a defense has to play honest. Right. When they just have to just line up and play, and your scheme is able to tell you both what they're going to play and where the openings are going to be. Mm-hmm. It's easy. Mm-hmm. But when you have a guy who has a name like a Steph Diggs or a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, it gets complicated because not only is your offense, I wouldn't say your offense is predicated on getting this guy the ball, but what makes your offense elite is including this guy in the offense, mm-hmm. right? As opposed to, the quarterback's job just being easy. But I guess this is where I get kind of frustrated with that, because schematically, or I guess just what's the word I'm looking for? Just from a perspective standpoint, if you employ your scheme the right way, having a number one receiver or having a dominant receiver on the team should help everybody else get open.
Yeah.
Right. Where I think Josh has kind of drank the Kool-Aid a little bit with this everybody eats thing is he's never been in an offense where he's had a number one and a true number two receiver. I think that's the issue here. Josh has never been in a situation where he's had elite weapons all around him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the floor on our wide receiver room this year has definitely gone up. I will say that. This is probably the best group of receivers collectively that we've had ever, right? But well, maybe not ever, because we had John Brown, Cole Beasley, and Stephon Diggs in the wide receiver room. But I guess if I'm looking at top to bottom, your top 6 receivers, this one is probably better, because the receivers behind John Brown at that point, John Brown, Cole Beasley, and Stephon Diggs weren't much to write home about.
Right.
But all that is to say, Josh has never seen what it looks like to have a T. Higgins and a Jamar Chase. So of course he's gonna love, the defense having to play honest, and him being able to just play the scheme and make the right throw, and not have to deal with anybody breathing down his throat about forcing the ball to a receiver, not having to deal with the receiver barking at him because he wants the ball. All this stuff happens on every other team that has a number 1 wide receiver. The difference is they figure out a scheme that works to get the receiver the ball and make things easier for the quarterback to get the ball to that receiver when they need to. Think about AJ Brown for the last couple of years. His stats have not exploded by any stretch of the imagination. He has not been a top receiver, like a top 3 receiver in terms of like yards and touchdowns and stuff like that, like he started off with when he got to Philly. When he first got to Philly, he exploded. But after that, it's been, when we need you, we will call upon you and you will make a play. And he did that in the Super Bowl. He hadn't been that guy all season long last year, but when it counted and when they needed him, bang, down the sideline. Got him. That's the benefit of having a number 1 wide receiver on the field. It's not just to just get that guy the ball 10 times a game, but to have someone that tells the defense, you better look over here so that I can throw the ball over there.
And Donnie, that's the point. He said Brown is very reliable who gets open. That's what you're saying. It's just the fact he can, but he's not number 1 per se.
Right.
Kevin's having a seizure over here. Trust me, you've heard it. You heard it from people that actually have rubbed shoulders with Josh Allen. What I said.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
John Scott has rubbed shoulders with people. He's there for. I'm not saying that Josh said verbatim, I want scrubs. But what he's saying is, I don't need a number 1. I like everybody eats. I like everybody eats.
Yeah.
And so what we want and what you guys want is not what he wants. He's our quarterback.
Right.
And because he's the Messiah, we'll say, anything like that can't be said by Josh Allen.
So I think what we're realizing that we're all suffering from is we're suffering from a quarterback who was never told how good he was and has now become the face of an NFL franchise and doesn't know how to be elite. And I just mean from a personal from a personal expectation standpoint, he doesn't know how to raise the expectations of everybody else around him. Right. He just knows how to be the guy that everybody relies on, because he's always been that. And that's how he treats himself here. I'm the guy that has to put the franchise on my shoulders. I'll carry the load. Not what Joe Burrow is doing from the standpoint of, I need my weapons, dog. You gonna pay him or you gonna lose me.
Right.
I'll walk. I got the bag already. I can take a year off and go wherever I want. I'll be fine.
And I think that's where we are with James Cook.
Yeah.
Josh Allen doesn't really care about James Cook.
Not at all.
Because if that was the case, he would have said, you know what? I got all this money. Free some of my money up, get my weapon.
Yep.
Free some of my pay this man.
Yep.
Call James or James. Come on, man. What you need? Sean, he said this. Oh, okay. You said, okay. James, he said this. Y'all need to come. Matter of fact, 3-way it back in the 90s. 3-way. I'm hit this button. And, James, you there? Click over. You click over. You got me this?
Dorothy know what we talking about.
Right. You click over. I'm not saying that Josh doesn't like James, but Josh doesn't require James. Yeah. He doesn't need James. He's a nice piece. But if I don't have him, I got Ray and I got Ty and I got somebody else next year probably. Darren's never. Give me Evans. Fine. And we just don't see it that way. But I think that goes to the mentality, like you said. We're underdogs. Yeah. Even though I'm top 2 quarterback in the league, we're underdogs, and I like it that way. Or I don't like it that way, but we all like it that way to a degree. We like being an underdog, winning everything.
Yep. It's fun when it works. Real quick, I want to play this clip from Thurman Thomas talking about the James Cook situation. I got a couple of comments on it, and then we can get to what you wanted to talk about. Okay. Pause it and turn my volume up here for everybody so you can hear. All right, here we go.
I think the one thing about that is that, look, I don't want this to get into a they said, he said, whatever type of argument. I think, hey, if this is going to be his last year, then let it be his last year. Don't, make sure that you play him, because I think over the past.
So I just want to pause it there real quick. Did you hear what he said?
Make sure you play him.
Make sure you play him. Why would Thurman Thomas say that? Maybe because he knows that teams choke players out when they're on the last year of the contract and they don't plan on signing them. They want that player to be in a position of low leverage when it comes to their performance. So what they'll do is they'll limit carries, they'll limit opportunities for production and strong numbers, so that player has to come back to the table with less of an expectation the year after.
Last couple of years, he's been the second best player on the football team, and so obviously he wanted his money. Saquon got his money, and I think they're the same age, and Derrick Henry, and so now the running backs are starting to come back a little bit. But I think when you have with Josh making it much easier to not have a prime time running back, then this is what you get. Now, obviously, I want James to get his money, but I just don't want it to end in a bad way. Well, I think the one thing.
So he said some very interesting things there, and I think the biggest thing that sticks out is confirming what you said from the standpoint of Josh being as good as he is doesn't really need a number one running back behind him, right? And I think that's not just Josh's perspective. I think it's the team's perspective too. Josh is so good, we don't need all of this stuff. We can afford to spend all this money in all these other places, right? Look, this is a player talking about another player's contract situation from a place of experience. Thurman Thomas eventually had to leave and go to Miami. Right. He went to the enemy because of contract situations breaking down. So I think what we need to take from all this is the understanding that we're in a situation where it is James Cook trying to do what every other player does in James Cook's situation and maximize what they can make in the lifespan of their NFL career. The average NFL career is only like 4 years?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
So think about that for a second. What if somebody told you that the job you have now, you can only do for another 3 years, and after that, you're gonna have to figure something else out on average, right? That now that you could overperform and you could get your time at that job extended if they deem it necessary, if you're part of the inner circle, if you fit the future plans for that team, or you could just be gone in 3 years.
Right.
How would you feel? Wouldn't you try after performing extremely well in something like sales or whatever, right? You got the numbers to back it up. I want a raise. We'll talk about that at the end of this next at the end of this next season. What's your first thought going to be? Oh, they probably not going to give me the leads I need.
Right.
How's that different? It makes sense to me.
It's crazy. Nate, real quick, welcome. I don't believe we've spoken, but they will probably give you red helmets. I hope they don't, but they probably will. That was one of the deals that we talked about. I can't really go into too much of it because they had another point, but a lot of fans are pushbacking, like we said, because they said if it's not Jim Kelly helmets, I don't want anything. Yeah. Why is it okay? Why does Josh Allen have to live in Jim Kelly's shadows?
I don't think it's that.
It's not. It's not that. But my point is, Jim Kelly red. That's what they say. Jim Kelly red. Which one's better? And if Josh Allen's career ended today, he's number 2, right?
So wait. So did the Bills switch to the red helmets when Jim Kelly got there?
No. But what I'm saying is when they had the blue, the red, this, that, and third, They said if it ain't the Jim Kelly Reds,
Mhm.
then we don't want them. This is not what I said. This is something I saw on Twitter. It was a string of it.
Okay.
So my
What
thing
does
is,
that mean to you, the Jim Kelly Reds?
the Jim Kelly Reds means that Josh Allen's got to play in Jim Kelly's Reds. So my thing is, this is where I'm going with it. When I listen to that argument, I'm saying, okay, if Josh Allen's career ends today, he'd be the at worst second best quarterback in Bills history, right? Why is it that he doesn't have his own legacy? Maybe he does. Maybe the red is cool, but see, Josh Allen's a kind of humble cat. I want to pay homage to the old. No, you're new. What's your legacy? That's why I want to wear blue, because nobody's done it before. And if Josh Allen puts a blue helmet on, guess what? Him and Jim Kelly are separated completely in that regard. He's not wearing a Jim Kelly red. There is no Jim Kelly blue. There is no Joe Cribbs blue. There is no Jack Kemp blue. Josh Allen be the only one to ever do this. So when our kids have kids, they're like, oh, the Bills are still wearing blue. They're wearing Josh Allen blue. There is nobody else.
So I look at it from a little bit of a different perspective. I don't associate the red helmets with any one particular player, and that might. I think the issue is whoever that fan was that associated the red helmets with Jim Kelly in the first place. Because from my perspective, I think the red helmet is just the best looking helmet we've ever had. It's over the white helmets now. Like, to be perfectly honest, I like the white helmets are cool, but red helmets to me, like the team just looked more aggressive. They looked more, you know what I'm saying? They looked more punishing when they played. I don't know what it is about the red helmets. I just liked my team having a red helmet better than I like my team having a white. I've never seen a blue helmet.
So that's the thing. What you just said, we've never seen it.
Yeah, but if it's gonna be like if it's that blue, I just what I've struggled with when it comes to the blue helmets is I've not seen a design yet that's like, oh, we got to do that. If I see one, then I'll be down. But I've not seen anybody's design, anybody's mock-ups, I haven't seen a design of a helmet with that blue or any other blue where I'm like, yo, that I need to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like the one that you showed me with the faded buffalo on the side, like that would be interesting to see if they do it well. But knowing the Bills and knowing that they're going to go with this electric blue that they've always had, they're going to go with this laser red that they've always gone with, and those are the color schemes. Mm-hmm. How does that look on a helmet? Where's the white going to go? How is all this going to be, fleshed out in terms of a design? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, real quick, Billy D said red helmets just remind me of the 90s. Exactly. Laura said, I'm down for something new and fresh. A signal of changing of the guards, next generation stuff. Steve said maybe we get new helmet colors when the new stadium opens. Maybe we're saving a blue or black helmet. I think you have to go to the next level. You got to go to the next generation.
I'd take a black helmet.
Black would be cool.
I would take black. Cool. Just change the colors overall.
Yeah, that'd be
new
cool.
Stadium. Just change
black
the colors.
With like it's black and then you got.
Just go to Sabres colors. You go black with the red and the silver and the white. Yeah. Huh?
It's just all black and you get like the darker highlighted like blue and red.
I wouldn't put blue and black in the same. Like I didn't like that with the 2000 red Bills helmets where they had the stripe with the black and the blue and the white. Like that's too much.
Well, no, I didn't say white. I said just plain like
black, red, and blue.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that.
I would if I'm gonna do a black helmet. Blue is out of the out of the equation.
So
like
just
red. Blue is just gone. It will be black, red, white, and silver. Just do it just straight like the Sabres, the Sabres jerseys. What's going on, White Towns? Ain't seen you in a minute. Says our all blue combination would look crazy with blue helmets. Again, you know what? Anybody that does any kind of graphic design, like I do it too, but I just don't have time. If y'all want to play around with a design and send it to me, I would love to see some mock-ups for some blue helmets. I haven't seen one I've liked so far.
Yo, that'd be a dope conversation. Send us the top 3. We'll pick 3 out of that, and then
we'll definitely put it up on the show.
And then we'll see what people say. But it's got to be an all blue helmet though. So if you know how to do graphic design, do it. But it's got to be all blue, or it's got to be a blue base helmet. What else did you have? Because we're running low on time.
We can save everything else for the next one.
Monday. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. But what we can't save for the next show,
definitely
cannot. Is the need for Josh Allen's wide receivers to get some Reed's tea.
Yes.
Because it's refreshing, unlike the old crusty Bills we've had before, unlike the old red helmets. It's delicious as well.
Let them know, Key.
It's 2 parts healthy.
Y'all some haters, man.
That's what we can expect with only 4 ingredients. I don't even drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink there. What you doing, Hillary Reese, get yourself a supply of the case or individual. Why would you do that? Get yourself the case. You won't be disappointed. What do I know? See for yourself, Reese Tea. Click the link in the description below. Use the code PPP to let them know who sent you.
All right. You're hearing that music, that means it's time for us to jump out the window. Look, we are going, well, you probably can't hear me clearly yet. Okay, we'll try it now. So if you're hearing that music, that means it's time for us to jump out the window. If you are going to MafiaCon tomorrow, it is from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I myself will be there at 1 p.m. I got some stuff to do in the morning there. You can meet us in person. We're going to be at the Reese Tea stand. We got 2 big old banners. You can't miss it. And we got a tent that's going to be there too. So come check us out. There's going to be a lot of podcasters there doing their thing on site. We're not going to be running a podcast, but we will just be, walking around, checking things out, and passing around some Reese Tea there too. So if you're going to be in the area, or if you're planning on going already, definitely show up. We'd love to see you there. Key's gonna try to make it out.
Yeah. Well. Funny thing about that. This is what I was going to tell you earlier.
Okay.
One of the days at work, we walked into to clock out.
Okay.
The morning crew was cheering because we came up an hour after they started. They thought we were coming to help them out. That's how late my week. I haven't gotten out of work before 3:30 this whole week.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm really hurting right now.
Right. Peace.
That's what it was.
That's what you thought. You thought wrong. Sorry. All right. Well, with that being said, everything that you need to get in contact with us or to engage with us is in the description of our video on YouTube. If you are watching us on Twitter, you can actually go to our Twitter. Our Twitter page is at PostPodiumPod on Twitter. You can DM us from there, or you can, there's a link there to our YouTube channel. You can get to all of our other content there. And if you want to become a member, the link for that is in our YouTube video description as well. Other than that, our producer, my oldest son, Junie's got his own basketball podcast, Basketball Truth and Knowledge. Make sure you check him out there. He's starting to populate his gaming channel on YouTube as well. He's big in business here now. 2 YouTube channels. I don't even have 2 YouTube channels. What?
If you got TikTok too as well, it's babyface_assassin4 on TikTok. That's where all my clips are.
Yeah, you've been posting some dope clips.
If you don't have TikTok, that is fine. I'm working to post them on Instagram, which is the same as my Twitch account, babyface_assassin21. That's with the Babyface logo on there. And then I'm gonna post them on YouTube as well too. So I'll try to get that fixed out, so that way you guys can go see them.
Okay. All right. There you have it. I'm sorry, real quick. My youngest son Ray just started his YouTube channel. Also, Gaming with Ray is more family oriented, so we play a lot of more family oriented games. Make sure you check that out. Gaming with Ray on YouTube. Other than that, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host Aramis.
40 keys.
Go ahead. Let's say the producer in the building. We out.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Yeah.